I lived on a reserve. I was born on a reserve.
I grew up in a small town outside of Ottawa. Population was small, half English and half French. There was one English church for the Anglophones and one French church for the Francophones.
My mom and dad had split up when I was very young. I was about 4 years old, and I was placed into foster care as a result. Foster parents had attempted to involve me. I always felt like there was a big part of me missing. I always had that, longing or thought that I was going to go back to my mom and dad. Pulling myself back and never allowing myself to get too close to anybody.
I was the social butterfly in my family. I was the ham. I was the one that was always doing something, a lot of the time I got a lot of praise and stuff for just being me and being the individual that I am, which is kind of why I think it was so hard for me to grow up in an environment where suddenly people were like, who is this person? Where did she come from? She's weird,
Well, I went to French school. My primary school was French, so there wasn't an issue then. But it's when I went to high school where it was Scottish background and English and Irish, and we were a minority then. So I guess I was safe in the primary school, and when I went to high school, I kind of got lost. And so I never fitted in, because when I was young, I was in the out. I wasn't popular with the in group, and I wasn't popular with the out group. So I was a complete outcast.
I believe a lot of our children have a different learning style, and I had a different learning style as I was growing up, and I'm 46 years old now. But when I was in elementary school, we were made to feel stupid and dumb and put into groups. We didn't have a lot of help and support from our parents, who probably didn't have that education themselves because they were in residential schools. And they didn't have those skills to teach us. So whereas the non-Native kids had way better privileges, like their parents helped them with their homework and projects, in that way, we felt different. Well, I felt different. And as an adult, I went back to CUASA counseling training, and I was on the dean's list. I'm not stupid and I'm not dumb.
When I was 11 years old, I started junior high, and I came from a poor family, and I got a lot of my siblings' hand-me-downs, and the mainstream world of junior high and everybody wanting to be like everybody else, little carbon copies of everyone else, it kind of posed as a very large problem for me at that time in my life. I was always the outcast. I was kind of overweight. I was the freak. I was the person that when people decided they had nothing better to do, I'd be the rumor, I dealt with it in various different ways. I dabbled in a lot of drugs. I dated older people. I got a little bit older, though, and learned how to cope with it a little bit better. Now I just don't care, so.
When I moved to Alberta, that's when I realized that I was really different, because people kept saying, oh, you're not from here because of my accent. They'd say, oh, you're from Quebec. And I used to say, I'm not from Quebec, because I don't associate with Quebecers because I wasn't born there. And then I went, after after Alberta, I went to Quebec because, like I said earlier, I figured finally I'm going to fit in because I'm never fitting in. And they said, well, you're from Toronto. You've got a weird French. You know, you're an Anglophone.
You know, there was a point in time where I had regrets about things that happened in my life and things I had done, and the alcohol and partying during my teenage life, and you know. But now I don't have any regrets because that's all makes a part of me, who I am. There's things I can learn from it. Right now, I consider myself a Native education counselor.
Actually, when I was 12 was the first time that I ever came out to my mother. And my response, the response that I got from her was, "No, you're not, it's just a fad." So I actually waited until after my 18th birthday to tell her again and be like, yeah, okay, Mom, this isn't just a passing fad. It's kind of serious. After I told her the second time, she took it really well, actually. She told me she'd kind of had an inkling that it wasn't just a passing phase with me. She told me that whatever I do, she's going to love me anyway. I'm
The mother and sort of like take on the father role too at times, and I think the cycle is breaking. Like, I still have a lot of, parenting skills to work on.
In the social setting of a public high school, there's a lot of pressure on you to be like everyone else. There's that social standing. If you're not like everyone else, you're in a clique.
For 1 year, I moved to Japan with my son, and it was just him and me. And there were so many times that we felt like coming back because it was really rough. But my son would say, okay, Mom, we got to go back. Like, you see, like, it's not working out. The apartment fell through or the job fell through. Let's go back. I said, no, we can't. We're committed for a year. We're going to stick it out for a year. And then when we came back, my son said, you know what? That was a really good experience.
I think what really helped me through, I always had questions and I always was searching. So I guess that's what you do, is you search and read and talk to people and talk a lot. I used to talk a lot when I was younger, talking things out. I used to overanalyze, exhaust things to death, but whatever it takes, whatever your way of dealing with feeling like you don't fit in, draw, take pictures, read, journaling. I found journaling to be the biggest help for me. Some of the stuff that came out was just unbelievable.
First of all, remember to breathe. Stress less. When in doubt, don't. Beware of the ripple effect. You can cast a stone somewhere that can turn into and cause ripples that can turn into tidal waves later on somewhere else. Try to do what's right for you. It might not be what's right for others, but if it feels right, generally, first of all, define your sense of right and wrong, and then if it feels right, go with it. And mostly just be yourself and try to smile and live your life one day at a time and realize that there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, but you can go through it, and you don't have to, you don't have to be something that you're not. You don't even really have to be, all the things that you are in that moment. You can just be a little aspect of you, but as long as you're you, you're okay.